96. That's a hotline number. So if you want to call, or I say now is the time to call for this, then that's the number you use, 669-4996. Text line, which you can use whenever the heck you feel like it. Text me your thoughts, or Chance your thoughts, or Pat your thoughts. And that text line is 316-247-0923. So if you got something on your mind, you got a question you want to ask, or in today's case, you can win something via the text line. So you'll need both of those numbers if you want to try to win something and you haven't in the last 30 days, etc. Or if you just want to chime in, you just want to pitch in your 2 cents, 316-247-0923. More than welcome to do that whenever you feel like it. Here's how you can listen. Download our app, ESPN Wichita. Search after you go to your app store, search ESPN Wichita, download it. Regardless what kind of phone you have, you'll be able to listen to us anytime you want, no matter where you are. Live or after the fact, you can listen to us wherever you are via the ESPN Wichita app. Listen to us in your car by making 92.3 FM your preset 1, and you'll be with us, kind of, as you tool around town or South Central Kansas. ESPNWichita.com on your computer, your laptop, your device. If you work from home, or if you got a cave and you want to stream the show on your computer, there you go. ESPNWichita.com is how you can do that. Just click on Listen Live. And as I mentioned, if you want to listen to our archived shows, you missed something or you just want to hear it again, then click on podcast and search which day, which segment of which show that you want to go back and check out, be it New Day with SSJ in the mornings, my show, Pat and the Pulse, Seren Petro with the program. He's on from 4 to 6. All those shows you can access on our podcast page, either at espnwichita.com or on our app. Also, follow us and live stream the show. You can watch us on X or Twitter, whichever you want to call it, Facebook, and we're also live streaming on our YouTube channel. Highly recommend you go to YouTube, search ESPN Wichita, subscribe to that channel, set reminders, stuff like that. And if you do, you can see a lineup of the show's schedule, in what order, what we're going to be talking about or talking to in today's case. So highly beneficial for you to stream the show if you're capable of doing so and if you're allowed to do so. We are at our Equity Bank Park studio. It is February 10th, 41st day of the year, 324 days left in 2026. Headed for a high today of 60 degrees here in Wichita. All right, I will tell you what we're going to talk about and in what order, but not before Jack tells us a joke, our moment of levity. Jack?
I once dated a girl who had a twin, and people always asked how I could tell them apart. It was pretty simple. Allison painted her nails red, and Jerry had a beard.
Back-to-back bangers for you. Good job. Let's see. Today is, as I alluded to, February 10th. It's National Flannel Day, Home Warranty Day, Cream Cheese Brownie Day, Safer Internet Day, a weird day, and Umbrella Day. 8 days to tell you about tomorrow when we get there. Notable born days: James West, born 1931, co-inventor of the foil electret microphone. Roberta Flack, singer, R&B singer, born today. And Laura Dern, actress, Jurassic Park fame, Laura Dern. All right, here's what we're going to talk about. Of course, that instant classic, that thriller last night at Allen Fieldhouse, that, and Jack's a KU guy, we all know that, but you guys aren't privy to the conversations we have when we're not on the air, obviously. But even Jack's hardened KU heart had to have been a little softer last night after the clock hit triple zeros, and KU won that game 82-78. We will discuss here in the first segment. In the second segment, we will talk about not necessarily Darren Peterson, but kind of, but the way that KU plays without him and the way they played last night against Arizona. I thought it was telling that Bill Self kind of peeled the curtain back a little bit on what he sees when they play without DP. I thought it was interesting, and I'll paraphrase it when we talk about that, and kick around their ceiling, which Bill Self talked about too. So we'll hit that. Also, it's Top Golf Twitter question. It's round 2 of the Tom Hanks movie category. So head on over to our Twitter page if you want to. Please vote, repost. We'll also have a medal check. The Olympics are going on after all. So we'll let you know who's leading in the medal race, medal count for you. Give you a little update before we get to hour number 2. Then Jordan's Juicy Takes. We will recap the Super Bowl with Jordan Foote at Footnoted on Twitter, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. Jordan's Juicy Takes comes your way at 1 o'clock. And then at 1:25, we'll have a little baseball talk because pitchers and catchers are reporting any day now, depending on your team. And I've got a couple of guys that I will have, if not my eyes on live, I'll be keeping track of, see how these guys do at spring training. And we'll get Jack's thoughts on maybe 1 or 2 to watch when it comes to the Royals spring training camp. So we'll have a little baseball talk coming up at 1:25 to try to warm your heart a little bit. And then we'll have I'm Old Jack's Young at the end of the show. February 10 version. We'll celebrate some birthdays. And the Pulse is out on location at American Shaman Wichita in Northeast Wichita, 21st and Rock. And Chance will bring that to you, for you. So that comes your way from 2 to 4. So we'll have the Pulse with Chance Lebo in for Pat today, coming up at 2 o'clock. So give us your thoughts. If you got them, if you got questions, you got thoughts, easiest way for you to contribute to the conversation, if you want to, is to shoot us a text, 316-247-0923. Number 1 goes down 82-78. Kansas hands Arizona its first defeat of the season, despite playing without Darren Peterson, the projected number 1 pick. Missed the game due to an illness. And it was a game that had a little bit of everything, as you might imagine, with 2 titans, heavyweights, whatever analogy you want to use. And it was one that I thought it was interesting. I'll put it this way. I listened to the game because, it's on our channel, first of all. But I oftentimes, when I'm able to actually watch the game, I'll mute it and listen to the radio play-by-play with Brian Haney. I'm just kind of weird that way. But I thought it was very telling that, and it's certainly not meant to be a knock on Brian Haney at all. But if you guys listen to KU, really any sport, basketball or football, and you listen to Brian give you the play-by-play, he does not lack for enthusiasm and excitement. And I can't imagine being courtside at Allen Fieldhouse last night calling that game like he did. So kudos to you, Brian, you lucky dog. But I thought it was very telling too, because there was never really a prolonged period where Brian was able to just ride this wave. And that is 100% a feather in the cap to Arizona. because that meant that every time KU did something noteworthy, and it was all game long, there was Arizona to answer. And I think we all understand, if you like basketball at all, how unbelievably good Arizona is. And at the same time, what a Herculean effort it takes for 40 minutes to beat them. And there was a point in the second half where Arizona had an 11-point lead. And if you're a KU fan, you're just wanting, okay, whittle that down just a little bit. And then we'll take our chances in the final 2 or so minutes by fouling, sending these guys to the line, try to make some threes, that sort of thing. They didn't even need that. They didn't even need those kinds of heroics. And it was a collaborative effort for sure. And I got a question for Jack here after a little bit. I want to make sure that I cover everything, but in a game like that last night, there invariably, I'm probably going to leave something out, or an important part of the game out, or a pivotal part. But once again, Bill Self's bench was extremely shortened, and they were, playing shorthanded too without Peterson. But Elmarco Jackson, the only guy that came off the bench that had any legit minutes, really, he had 23, but all of the rest of it was put on the doorstep of the starters. And Melvin Council, for example, played the whole game. And he did not have a very good shooting night. If you saw the post-game presser with him and Flory, it was laugh out loud funny. But he did have 23 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and only 2 turnovers. So despite the poor shooting night from the floor, he also hit 10 free throws. And KU salted that game away or kept Arizona at arm's length, depending on what part of the game, because of really good free throw shooting. They were 15 of 17 in the second half. But Flory Bidunga continues to blossom before our eyes. 23 points on 8 of 11 from the floor, 7 of 9 from the free throw line from him, who I don't even think was 60% from the free throw line last year. But he had 10 rebounds, 6 of them offensive, 3 more blocked shots. He played 33 minutes. Bryson Tiller was a star in the first half when he kind of kept KU afloat. They were down by 3 at the break, 45-42. But really, and Trey White had a down game, I suppose, 25 points. He only shot 6 times and only made 1. He had 4 points. But McDowell, 10. Council and Bidunga with 23 apiece. Tiller had 18 overall, 14 in the first half. Cole Rosario played 6 minutes, but wasn't much of a factor. And Elmarco Jackson had 23 minutes where he had 4 points and 2 steals on 5 shots. And only one other player played. But that was an incredible game any way you slice it. And a texter astutely points out that KU doesn't win that game if they don't make free throws. Arizona really shot themselves in the leg at the line. Yeah, conversely, Arizona at the free throw line was 8 of 14, 57%. KU 84% on 21 of 25. So in the aftermath, we are in some ways celebrating a colossal win, but in other ways got one eye toward the weekend and another gigantic game and a trip to Ames to take on Iowa State. But again, we don't want to not mention this, but we also don't want to beat a dead horse. It was discovered very shortly before the game by all of us. Who knows when Bill Self knew, when his teammates knew, but Darren Peterson did not play. It was a semi to very late scratch because he wasn't feeling good. Dozens and dozens, you would think, scouts and NBA execs had gone to Lawrence to see him play, but he didn't. And Self, after the game, thought that adrenaline would kick in and that he would eventually end up playing, but he didn't. And now this is a point where Kansas is officially used to this. They've got a mode, they've got a style that they know what to do when they don't have number 22. And I thought it was interesting how Bill Self addressed it in the postgame. And first of all, if Peterson did play and he was sick, and we got to assume, well, we don't have to, but let's assume he was sick and he tried to gut it out and play. I'm not saying KU is better without him, so don't understand that. But the way they played last night without him, you think in hindsight, if Peterson did play and he was a little compromised and wasn't himself, how much would his teammates defer to him in order to make sure he got some shots up, in order to make sure that the offense ran through him? It's really, I think, a fascinating study without you getting into the weeds on who you believe and whether you think he's soft or not, or if you think he's controlled by his agent and his family. But the on the court stuff, Bill Self admitted that KU plays more aggressively. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but kind of not. He's used that term. Here it is. Quote. This is a direct quote. The thing about Peterson that's been positive is we have played without him, and we've actually been more aggressive individually a lot of times when he was not in the game. Now, we're not as good, but we're more aggressive individually. I don't know that we would have played that aggressively if Peterson had been in the game, because he's getting a lot of those touches and a lot of those shots. End of quote. Say what you want to about Bill Self. He seems to be extremely transparent as far as what he knows about the game and about all the ancillary stuff. And he's also handled this about as perfectly as you would want your coach to handle this, however you feel about it. And this meaning whether it's load management, or he's shying away from playing the best teams, or whatever theory is out there on the internet that you happen to subscribe to. Bill Self is giving a masterclass in how to handle this, and how there can't possibly be any sort of handbook or guardrails for how you handle this PR wise. All the while, by the way, playing maybe the best team in the country, even though they did beat them. I think it's undeniable that Arizona is at least top two. I mean, maybe you want to put Michigan in there, and if you do, go right ahead. But all that to say, Bill Self's unbelievable sterling record at home continues on. At home on Mondays continues on. And against top tier teams at Allen Fieldhouse, that also lives on. I didn't realize this, Jack, but with their win last night, KU has now won 61 consecutive home games played on Monday over a 25-year span. So it goes back even further than just Bill Self and his 38 or 39 in a row that he's won on Big Monday. Their last home loss on a Monday came in 2001. Drew Gooden was there, and they lost to Jamal Tinsley and Iowa State, 79-77. Jack, who is the backbone of this team? And you can't say both. Melvin Council or Flory Bidunga?
Gosh, I got to say it's probably Melvin Council for a variety of reasons. I mean, he has changed the point guard position for Kansas based off of what they had received the last couple of years. I mean, it's no disrespect whatsoever to DeJuan Harris. He just didn't shine in ways that Melvin Council can. And despite playing for multiple different schools before getting to KU, he's embraced it. I mean, he looks like one of those old school Kansas players that has been there all 4 years, maybe even an additional fifth year, because the way he interacts with the crowd, the way he plays. I mean, he played every minute last night. He was exhausted by the end of it. Still had to go to the free throw line. Yeah, they all were. And I've never seen a fan base truly embrace a player like this.
Yeah.
It's, I've lived through the era of Frank Mason and Devontae Graham, and they were certainly embraced, but they were also guys that were embraced because they were by far and away the best player on the team, and they'd been around for 4 years. I mean, they were so easy to embrace because Bill Self loved them. They were great guards at KU, very similar to Sharon Collins. Melvin Council's been here for a couple of months, and the fact that every time he's got the ball or every time he scores, the crowd barks at him because of his dog phrase that he uses. If you're not a dog, go be dog food. Or I know I'm paraphrasing that a little bit. He is.
That needs to be a T-shirt, by the way.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
they
okay.
sell it.
Good.
I mean, yeah, they're all about it. And instead of beware of the fog, they say beware of the dog in Lawrence. So it's pretty cool to see that. And I would say from a college basketball standpoint, that's what I was also hinting at yesterday in the Carolina Duke talk of you can never take that away of rivalries in college sports. The other thing you can't take away is when you have a player on your roster that truly embraces your program, it's a beautiful thing to see because how often do we see guys just go to a team because the money pays good? And I'm sure that Melvin Council is paid well at Kansas. To me, though, he's not the guy you watch and go, he's just there to cash his check every single game. He is there because he desperately wants to win. He knows this is his best shot at winning a national title game. And this is not to discredit Flory Badunga and what he's done for the last couple of games, but the way that Melvin Council plays, the way the fan base loves him, the way he interacts with the community there, I would be hard-pressed to find a better backbone on this team than number 14.
But it's close, you would admit. I thought I came up with a pretty good question.
Oh, yeah. It's
neck and neck.
Close there. Yeah. And there was a point in time where you could have said Trey White's the backbone of this team. That's what makes this team so enjoyable. And based on the last 2 years where they were the most unlikable teams that Bill Self's ever had, and I'm more so speaking for the fan base. I'm not sure if the coaching staff feels the same way.
I would agree.
I mean, those teams were sickening to watch. You almost had to. You'd rather stab yourself in the thigh like Ricky Bobby than watch a KU basketball game last year. It was awful. And not only were they a bad team, they just didn't look like they had any fun in any of those games. This team, they do. You'll see them have a big run. The crowd gets into it, and they're yelling into the crowd. They're trying to pump up the crowd, and it's great to see because I'm not trying to act like some fan of a team that's never done anything, and now they've finally gotten this great team. It's just refreshing in the new landscape of college sports that you can still get teams like this. Even if there's a couple of transfer guys, you can still get those great stories like Melvin Council, like Bryson Tiller, who's a reclassified freshman last year, redshirted, and then got a chance to practice against Hunter Dickinson. And now look at him making some of these pro moves out there against Arizona, of all teams. That's the KU of old. That's the Bill Self of old. And last night, man, I know I'm being a prisoner of the moment here, Shane, and I know that this is totally including the recency bias. You would really have to search for a better coaching job that Bill Self's done in one singular game than last night. I understand that he's had a couple of big come-from-behind victories in the NCAA tournament. One of my favorite coaching wins he ever had was against Duke in the Elite Eight. And that was just because that Duke team had Grayson Allen and Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter. It was a loaded team. And Sviatoslav Mikhailuk had to defend Marvin Bagley. They were mismatched a little bit, and they won that game in overtime. And it was one of the fastest-paced games I've ever seen. The reason last night was so impressive, I mean, not even to mention Arizona is a different beast, a different bear. You found out an hour before tip-off that your star player who might go number one in the NBA draft ain't playing. Like, if there was one game you absolutely needed him for, it was this one. and it didn't look good early on in the game. It didn't look good early on in the second half. The resiliency they showed, though, you could tell the emotion after that game. That one meant a lot to them. And I don't know how much longer Bill Self's going to be doing this, but that was a masterclass to win that game. They have a talented roster even without Darren Peterson, but we've seen the way Arizona's played so far this year. They look like an NBA team against college teams.
They do.
And last night, it's a credit to Bill Self. It is also a damn credit to Allen Fieldhouse because that place was on fire. My buddy texted me and said the little decibel reader they put up there got to 129 after one of the runs they had in the second half that led to a timeout. And that is nearly making your ears bleed. I know on the TV broadcast, you could tell how loud it was.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. A texter just texted a photo. This texter was there last night. I was there last night. By far biggest win at Allen in the Bill Self era. Exclamation mark. It's got a picture. Looks amazing. Let's carry this over, shall we? There's still another couple of things I want to get to, especially now that we brought up Bill Self and the way he is coaching this team, the way he coached the game last night, the comments he mentioned after the game of how they played differently, of course, without Darren Peterson, and a quote from him last night that is, I suppose, head scratching in a good way. We'll talk about that when we come back next. It's 12:27.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
You know, Mocha's coffee is delicious, and I'm a coffee guy. And Jack was really late with this heads up for this live read, but I can tell you this. At Mocha's Coffee and Eatery, you can enjoy gourmet coffee, fresh pastries, hearty breakfast, savory lunches, serve lunch too, all in a cozy, welcoming space made for your everyday moments. There's one right up the street here from Equity Bank Park. Go there all the time and drink their coffee daily. It's true. I got a cup right here. From morning fuel to midday bites, Mocha's fits right into your routine with 4 locations across Kansas, 2 here in Wichita, including one here by Delano, and a 3rd Wichita location coming soon. Great coffee and food is never far. Enjoy fresh flavors like we do and shared moments at Mocha's.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalize this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. On that heavy shelf you hung yesterday. Turns out you didn't use enough anchors. Wait, you didn't use any anchors? Now you got an open floor plan. Trendy. And if you have the wrong home insurance, you could need a wall of money to fix this. So get home insurance with Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Nachos! Yeah, you nachos!
Hey, I'll take some.
Great. And some Frank's Red Hot.
Oh, nah, I'm good.
Oh, you're just going to eat these dry, plain, boring nachos with no Franks? Oh, seriously? Frank it up. Frank it up. Come on, lady. Frank it up. Frank it up. Frank it up. Yeah! Yeah, this guy finally gets it. Hey, look, we're on the Jumbotron.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Hey, Shocker fans. Wichita State Baseball returns to historic X Stadium at Gene Stevenson Park for another exciting season of Shocker tradition. Season tickets start at just $75 for all 33 home games, including marquee matchups and conference action. It's an unbelievable value at just over $2 per game. Lock in your seat and be part of the energy all season long. Secure your seats at GoShockers.com/tickets or by calling 316-978-FANS.
Born day for Cliff Burton, formerly of Metallica. That's old school Metallica right there from old Jack. It's 12:32. I want to carry the KU talk over just a smidge here. There's a few overflow items that we really didn't get to in that first segment. Talking about their 82-78 win over Arizona last night on Big Monday. Bill Self's dominance on that day of the week continues, and in that arena, in that field house, as it were, continues. And he has proven over and over again this year that maybe he's doing his best coaching job ever, considering what he's had to deal with and who he's had to do some of it without. I do want to say this, though, about the Darren Peterson saga. And I think this doesn't explain away what's going on with him. Nothing could. And we're left with pure speculation. But there are a lot of things, there are a lot of layers to his availability, not only last night, but overall. And a lot of things could be, I mean, you can almost have a Twitter tournament on what is most true about Darren Peterson, honestly. But I would start with and end with, again, this isn't opening up a segment necessarily. This is just a statement. Don't make those guys go to college. That would solve a lot. And Kansas would certainly not be in this position. But then again, they wouldn't have him if they didn't make kids go to college for at least 1 year. That's my overarching takeaway and statement from this controversy that continues to come to a head every so often. Don't make them go to college. I wholeheartedly support that, because then you wouldn't be dealing with guaranteed money and a non-clause that makes you play a certain amount of games before you get your money. You take away the possibility of lying about injuries. You also take away the perception that you're soft if you're not lying about injuries. And you take away the potential of load management from a player. You also take away the perceived or real avoidance of playing really good teams. Now, he did play against Texas Tech, but in the second half against BYU, he didn't play at all last night, didn't play against North Carolina, on and on. Didn't play against UConn, I don't think either. But anyway, a lot of those things could be true all at the same time, but they could also be fixed in the college game anyway for everybody if you don't make them go to college to begin with. Now, back to Bill Self. And this kind of has to do with Darren Peterson too. Doesn't it? Is it just me, Jack, or am I overreacting? And tell me if I am. Bill Self has had to learn how to coach this team two different ways. One with, one without. And he talked about the individual aggressiveness by these guys when they don't have him. So they seem to know how to play when they don't have him because they don't have to defer to anyone, but they all seem to, mesh and get theirs at the same time. Now it's one less person to play. So it doesn't seem like it's sustainable from a health standpoint or a stamina standpoint. But when you're playing at home and that home crowd does what it did last night, and Bill Self admitted what it did last night, then that 15,300 can kind of take you over the hump a little bit. And they don't, as Bill said last night, they don't allow you to get tired. But regardless of what you think of Bill Self, I don't think there's any possible way that you can argue with me that this is one of his best coaching jobs ever, but because he coaches part of the time with a lottery pick and part of the time without it. And there aren't necessarily plays, or many of them, that you call when Peterson's available versus when he's not. So it's almost like you have to have two separate game plans. Credit the players for playing brilliantly without him when he doesn't play, and credit Bill Self for somehow mapping out, especially last night, kind of sort of at the 11th hour. All right, here's how we're going to play against the number one team in the country that hasn't been beaten yet, or haven't even really been challenged yet. But here's how we're going to do it without DP. Bill Self, dude, Hall of Famer.
It's exactly right. I was just going to point out that he's a Hall of Famer for a reason. He lives for matchups like this, and this team, even without Darren Peterson, is more than capable of making a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Where I stand on the Darren Peterson situation is actually the point I've stood on for the majority of this year. They're not going to kick him off the team. They are not a better team without him. We can get that out of the way right now. If you actually believe that this team is better without a guy that is going top 3 in the NBA draft, you're just doing it out of the spite you have for Darren Peterson. And quite frankly, I felt this way too. Those that say they should kick him off the team just don't want Kansas to have the opportunity of getting him back. Of this, you're better without him. He's such a headache, and they can win these. I mean, look at last night. They beat Arizona. What I would say is this: they're not going to have Allen Fieldhouse in the NCAA tournament, though they may have a favorable crowd. And if they get a draw where they're in, Oklahoma City or St. Louis, then go to Chicago in the Midwest region, they'll have 85% of the crowd regardless of who they play. You still want to get to a point where you have Darren Peterson, because we saw against BYU, we saw against Texas Tech, this team has a really high ceiling when he's out there. And so if Darren Peterson does this the rest of the way, here's what I also think that we're doing too much of. We want to put it on this team that, they must just be so discombobulated when they don't know if Darren Peterson's going to play or not. Or how about this answer? Maybe they don't get discombobulated when he doesn't play. Maybe they look at it and go, okay, if he's there, fantastic.
It seems like it could be a rallying cry.
Yeah. And if he's not there, hey, we're not going to wuss out in this game and just say, well, now we can't win because we don't have Darren Peterson. We've seen time and time and again him be ready to play, and then the day of the game, he can't play. They've been dealing with this since November. And so if it was a headache, if it was something where it's such a distraction and this team couldn't keep dealing with it, well, what would be happening, Shane? They'd be losing. Mm-hmm. They'd be losing a lot of games. They would be getting crushed by opponents like this, and they don't. So what you have here is, yes, an infuriating situation. Was I thrilled when Darren Peterson wasn't playing because of the flu? Hell no. Or hell yes, I was mad about it. I would say this, though. What you're going to need him for is 6 games in March. That's what you need him for. Mm-hmm. Now, to win the Big 12, you probably still need him. You need him on Saturday if you're going to beat Iowa State, in my opinion. To me, the goal, though, is to have him for 35-plus minutes a game when they're playing in the tournament. And if that happens, great. If it doesn't, well, they've had an entire season of learning how to play without him. Mm-hmm. And that's just where I'm at with this thing. We don't need to make it as big of a spectacle as people out there want it to be. I get that he is a very talented player and nobody really understands why this is happening. Or maybe you do, that it's his parents.
A lot of people think they do, for sure.
Yeah, a lot
Everybody's
of people
got
think
an opinion.
they do.
Yep.
But the only thing that matters in Lawrence is, can Bill Self deal with it? And can this team deal with it? And they're 19-5 and 9-2 in Big 12 play. If they were not okay dealing with it, if they didn't want to have him on the team anymore, they would have done it by this point. Or this team would be horrible at this point if they couldn't deal with this distraction on the side. It's more about having this generational talent that you're hoping to have for a 6-game stretch in the tournament.
There is a quote from Self, and I've heard this first paragraph before, and it's a good one. But the second one, I wasn't aware that this is how he feels. So bear with me here. The key to winning games isn't always playing better than your opponent. It's making sure your opponent doesn't play as good as you. And we were able to do that. That's what he said about the game last night. Very well put. But he also went on to say, when you get to early February, the great teams are operating pretty close to their ceiling. I don't know what our ceiling is, but I know that we're not close to it yet. End of quote. You believe that? I'm not sure what to make of that last sentence. I don't know what our ceiling is, but I know we're not close to it yet. Man, if last night wasn't close to that ceiling, then you might as well call the Jostens guy right now and give him the national championship ring.
Yeah, no kidding. I would say this, that as a Kansas fan, it makes you excited because if Bill Self believes there's an extra gear, then yeah, I mean, who are they going to lose to in the NCAA tournament if they're going to be better than this? And maybe he's saying that because they didn't have Darren Peterson last night. You know, is the ceiling of this team playing someone like Arizona and Tucson and actually winning? Maybe that's what he's focusing on here. Because for the last 2 years, you have looked at road games like Saturday. You have looked at road games like the one in Tucson down the road and went, okay, just chalk it up as a loss. Don't be embarrassed. And to say that as a Kansas fan, that's pretty shocking to do. Because for many years it was, okay, who actually is going to beat us in this conference? And nobody really could. Maybe this extra gear, this ceiling is, no, you don't look at the game on Saturday as a house money. It is what it is. It's a no, go win that game. We show we were better than Iowa State at home a few weeks back. We can do it again in their place. And that's exciting to think about here.
And they also are capable of, Jack, to Bill Self's point, making the other team play less than their best and
absolutely,
and less than Kansas's best. And that's exactly what they did to Iowa State the first time around. I get it. Hilton's different than playing at the Fog, but you get the point.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've dealt with some tough environments this year. I thought NC State and Raleigh was a pretty tough environment. Bramlage is always going to be a tough environment when KU goes there. You had Lubbock with Texas Tech. That's going to be a bear to deal with. And so will Saturday, and so will Tucson on that big Monday in late February. What I would say is this. I go back to the loss after West Virginia, and nobody really believed Bill Self at the time, but he said, we're not good right now. We're bad right now. But that doesn't mean we can't be great down the road. Right. And they've won 8 consecutive games since then. So clearly he saw some level to this team that they were going to get to. Now, this version is good enough to win the NCAA tournament with the right draw. And that's why I want to use my words carefully here. With the right draw. You want to get into the NCAA tournament where you say, bring us whoever, because we're going to kick your ass. We're not scared of Michigan. We're not scared of Duke. We're not scared of Arizona again. Give us them as our 1 seed. Or better yet, let's be the 1 seed, and I don't care who's in our region. We are going to be coming out of that bracket. We're going to be getting back to the Final Four in Indianapolis, and that's what championship-level coaches do. If he would have said last night, guys, I don't know how we can play much better than that, I'd say, well, maybe you're right. But also he went out there and said, I didn't think we played that well tonight. He said, I didn't think we played that well tonight, but we competed so hard. We grinded it out for that win.
He ought to know better than anybody. That has a lot to do with Arizona. They're damn good.
Absolutely. I mean, they looked as good as anybody I've seen KU play in the last couple of years in certain stretches of that game. But KU also was able to respond without their best player. And if you put that all together, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of teams out there, Shane, and we don't know because we're not on these other radio stations and in Carolina when you're talking with Duke and North Carolina reporters or people up in Ann Arbor for Michigan or Illinois with Champaign. I would imagine a lot of those folks are saying, I don't want to run into Kansas at the tournament, even with this uncertainty of Darren Peterson. Because if he is out there, look what they're capable of doing. They would be coming out of playing in the best conference in college basketball, and at one point in time had an 8-game winning streak in the conference and counting. Who knows how good it gets or how high it gets, but that's not going to be an easy, in my mind, a 2 to 3 seed. I don't see them getting to the 1 line. I would love to be proven wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but I see them closer to that 2 to 3 line. And what 1 seed would want to run into them? Because if you get Kansas as a 2 and it's the Chicago region and the Midwest, yeah, I know a lot of people in Chicago that are KU fans. That would be a nightmare,
Of course,
for Duke fans or Michigan fans, because KU takes over the United Center when they go to Chicago, and then you'd have to deal with a Kansas team like this. But it's also February 10th. We still got a month to go here before we talk about the NCAA tournament. There is a lot that can change, but as of right now, it appears to be a Kansas team that is surging at a really good time.
They played their butts off last night. It was something. 82-78 was the final. Arizona unbeaten no longer. And the next opportunity for KU comes this weekend against Iowa State. All right. When we come back, we got a good amount to get to, as we normally do in the Twitter section. We got to give away something. We got to let you know what's going on Twitter for you to vote, repost. We'll have a medal count. What's going on in the Olympics? We'll sneak that in before Jordan's Juicy Takes coming up at 1 o'clock. But first, give you an opportunity to win $30 in Kansas Lottery X Games scratch tickets. Call Jack 316-669-4996. Twitter, Top Golf Twitter. Next.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
Get ready to spin and win big at Rock and Bruce Casino with our $100,000 Mardi Gras Spin and Win. Earn entries February 1st through 28th. It's 100 points per entry. Join us Fridays and Saturdays from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for hourly drawings, where winners will get 3 spins of the wheel for a chance to win up to $100,000. Don't miss your shot to win Mardi Gras style, only at Rock and Bruce Casino. Eat, win, rock on. I-35, exit 231, owned by the Con Nation.
The future will be amazing, and that's all well and good. But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400-horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Ariya that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, but today is made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Ariya and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this.
I don't know why I don't have a voice right now.
Yelling at the TV.
And now another no-brainer
Not
money-saving
more
tip
than
from
usual.
Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, we'll use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Go hog wild, pit barbecue. Hog wild, get some for you.
Hog Wild Pit Barbecue has a great meal you're going to love. It's an open-face hot beef sandwich. Here's Josh Wissing, partner and general manager at Hog Wild's 47th and South Broadway location to tell you more.
Our open-faced hot beef sandwich plate at Hog Wild Pit Barbecue is like no other. We start with our grilled Texas toast, add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes, load up some of our tender Hog Wild smoked beef brisket, and top it with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Come give it a try.
Hog Wild's open-face hot beef sandwich plate sounds like quite a meal, so come and get it. 6 locations in Wichita, also in Derby, El Dorado, Hutchinson, and Salina.
Go hog wild, pit barbecue. Hog wild, get some for you. But don't be late, we close at 8.
You like this deep cut, Jack? This is Jerry Goldsmith. He was responsible for the musical score in all the Rambo movies. That was in First Blood.
Excellent pick.
I thought so too. That was a deep, deep cut. 12:51 here on a Tuesday. Let's see here. We've got Hawk Talk tomorrow night at 6:00. So that'll be an interesting listen. See what old Bill has to say about that instant classic that they played last night. We've been talking a lot of KU in this first hour. Time now to get a couple of other things knocked out. We gave away the lottery tickets. Up next, we have the Twitter question. It is brought to you every Tuesday by Topgolf. If you're looking for the perfect venue to host your next big event in Wichita, look no further than Topgolf Wichita. Whether it's a corporate event, client appreciation night, birthday bash, fundraiser, or tournament, or just want to go out and have some fun, Topgolf Wichita has got you covered, especially with the weather the way it is the last couple of days. Tee off your next event with Topgolf today. Visit Topgolf Wichita online or call 316-394-4057. That's 394-4057 and reserve your date today. 4 more heavy hitters from the Tom Hanks Library. This in large part due to Jack Johnson's brain. It's a Tom Hanks movie Twitter tournament. Which is your favorite? Which is the best? There's a lot of good ones that he's in, but the next 4 are up there right now. That was after Shawshank outpaced all the other guys in yesterday's heat. Here's the next one. Green Mile, Splash, You've Got Mail, or the Money Pit. Which one do you favor? Green Mile, Splash, You've Got Mail, or the Money Pit? At ESPN Wichita, go vote and repost if you would be so kind. Also, the medal check. The Olympics are going on right now. And going to NBCOlympics.com. That's the website that I favor when it comes to the Olympic medal count. It does a really good job of letting you know, that particular website, of letting you know the events coming up. Of course, with it being overseas in Europe, a lot of these events are going off in the early morning, and so you Olympic fans realize that. But it does a really good job. That particular website does a really good job of letting you know the schedule of events, like what's coming up next, who to watch for, and in our for our purposes, who's winning the medal count. Speaking of, here at about 10 minutes or so, it's women's hockey, Canada and Team USA, which ought to be a really good one. They're likely to meet again in next week's medal round. But Canada leads the all-time series 106-86 and 2 ties, and has a 5-2 edge in Olympic golds. But the Americans have a 6-game winning streak against them, and that includes last year's World Championship final and a sweep in their annual rivalry series. So Team USA against Canada in women's hockey, scheduled for 1:10 this afternoon, if you're into that. Curling, mixed doubles finals. Team USA upset Italy to reach the championship. That should be going on right now. It's on the USA Network if you're watching TV or if you want to watch TV. And a lot of these things, like I said, have already gone down. Cross-country skiing, free skiing, biathlon, short track speed skating, and just a little while ago, mixed team normal hill ski jumping and luge women's singles final going on right now. But anyway, as of a little while ago, Norway and Italy were tied for the most medals to this point with 11. Norway actually has 6 gold to go along with a silver and 4 bronze. So they have 11. Italy's got 11. Team USA has 7, or USA has 7. 2 gold, 3 silver, 2 bronze. So USA tied for 3rd in the medal count so far with Japan. Japan also has 7 as well. Germany, Sweden, both have 6. Switzerland, Austria, and France and then Canada, rounding out the top 10. Canada has 3 medals, no golds. France has 3, and Switzerland and Australia, as of right now anyway, both have 5 apiece. So there you go. There's your medal count. We will continue to keep you up to date on that as we go throughout the week this week. Speaking of, what we've got for you sports-wise and what to talk about is nonstop stuff this week, especially with college baseball coming up and college softball already underway when it comes to Wichita State stuff. So got all kinds of stuff to get you ready for. Tonight, women's basketball is at home against FAU at the Roundhouse. That game starts 6 o'clock. ESPN Plus, if you want to watch it. Tomorrow night, the men play USF, a huge game against the Bulls. That one's also on the Plus at 6:30. So if you're a basketball junkie, you're a Shocker fan, and you've been waiting to go see them, here you go. USF and Tulsa coming up this week and weekend. Wednesday, 6:30 for the men versus USF. And then we will have, weather permitting, college baseball starting Friday afternoon. It's supposed to rain, so who knows what that'll do to that schedule, especially since Wichita State and Northern Colorado have 4 games scheduled in 3 days. There's a double header built in there. So cross your fingers if you're a Shocker baseball fan that the weather will stay clear enough or it won't rain hard enough, put it that way, because the weather's supposed to be okay as far as the temperatures are concerned, so maybe you can play through that. But anyway, a 3 o'clock game on Friday out at the Eck between Wichita State and Northern Colorado, and then a full day of Shocker sports on Saturday because the Shocker baseball team playing a doubleheader starting at noon, and that night Tulsa comes to town to take on the men's basketball team. So an unbelievable stretch of sports to talk about if you want to go and watch it, if you're here in Wichita, or if you want our review and reaction after it already happens, you'll get it right here on your home for sports here in Wichita, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. All right. Before we get to Jordan's Juicy Takes, why don't you guys and gals, if you want some free stuff from Top Golf, to text that to me, Top Golf, to 316-247-0923. Got a gift card for you. Just text the words Top Golf if you live here in Wichita or you're close to it, and you can come by here and pick up your gift card. I got one waiting for you. If you text Top Golf, 316-247-0923, just use the old text line and text Top Golf, and I will hook you up. Again, the Twitter question, Top Golf Twitter question, who you got in the Tom Hanks library, Green Mile, Splash, You've Got Mail, or the Money Pit? Those are up for another couple of hours. And then round 3 will drop a little bit later on this afternoon or tonight. So be watching at ESPN Wichita on Twitter for the very latest there. All right, coming up here in just a bit, we got Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. And a reminder from Booth Creek, since it's February 10th. You lovebirds need to hit up Booth Creek Wagyu because Jeannie will hook you up with the Surf and Turf special, the Sweetheart special, because, why don't you just go to Booth Creek Wagyu, have some surf and turf at home, and you don't have to worry about going out to your favorite local steakhouse or trying to make a big thing of it. You can make a big thing of it at home. Valentine's Day coming up, head into Booth Creek Wagyu at 21st and Webb. She'll hook you up with either the Sweetheart Surf and Turf box or the Sweetheart Surf and Turf box. It's either bold or elegant. So if you'd rather have 2 fillets or 2 ribeyes, you got your choice. And it also comes with lobster tails as well. It's a perfect choice for those that love a rich, indulgent steakhouse experience. Booth Creek Wagyu can hook you up. Jordan's Juicy Takes coming up in hour number 2. And also, a little baseball talk. Pitchers and catchers are reporting. I got 2 guys that I'm keeping my eye on in spring training they kind of sort of have Wichita State ties. I'll tell you about that. And who are the Royals that Jack is going to have his eyeballs on? Literally, he's going to go down to spring training here before too long. Ones to watch from Jack Johnson when it comes to the Royals, and a two-time All-Star that the Phillies seemingly trying to shop. We'll tell you who that is coming up in the 125 segment, and then I'm old Jack Young at the end of the show. But when we return, Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by BCW. That's next.
Wichita's sports leader. ESPN Wichita.
Thanks for filling those 4 to 5 minutes, too.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of little thing we had to switch up in
and
the
that's all well
15-10
and good.
room.
But what about today? You can feel the rush of a 400 horsepower Nissan Z, or climb to new heights in the all-terrain Nissan Frontier. Light up the road in the all-electric Nissan Aria that feels like a sci-fi dream come true. The future will be great, but today it's made for thrill. All you have to do is get in a Nissan and drive. 2023 Aria and Z not yet available for purchase. Expected availability is this spring for 2023 Z and this fall for 2023 Aria.
Today on Hey Culligan Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener. Here's Kevin.
Hey, Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. On that heavy shelf you hung yesterday, turns out you didn't use enough anchors. Wait, you didn't use any anchors? Now you've got an open floor plan. Trendy. And if you have the wrong home insurance, you could need a wall of money to fix this. So get home insurance with Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
Chad's on vacation, so he hasn't sent out a schedule. Do you know what we have tonight?
You know that
I heard overtime. Does that sound right?
Leave already?
I guess.
That's COVID-19. That's why I got an updated booster designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. Got it? Check eligibility and schedule your updated COVID booster at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
And we are all tied up in the bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded. Electric in here. Electric. It all comes down to this pitch. You throw the fastball here. But it looks like Brock is walking off the field and is leaving the stadium. What is going on here? I'm getting word that he left to get a taco.
When you need a taco, you need a taco. Introducing the new Cantina Crispy Melt Taco, only from Taco Bell. At participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
Time once again for Jordan Foote, Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. Sports fans know the best games deserve the best food. Nothing beats Booth Creek Wagyu, raised right here in Kansas. Whether it's burgers on the grill, steak night at home, or tailgating for the big game, BCW brings you premium flavor, unmatched tenderness, and a true farm-to-table experience. Stop by their 21st and Webb store. Ask for Jeannie. Tell them we sent you. And ask for the Valentine's Day special for you lovebirds, too. Taste the difference for yourself. BCW, changing the way America eats beef. Check them out online and place an order at boothcreekwagyu.com. Jordan Foote joins us right now. Jordan, got to ask you about the Super Bowl, your reaction to it. Won't lead you in any one particular direction. We can go from there. But what do you think about the Patriots v. Seahawks?
It was unfortunate that the Patriots season ended in that fashion, but I think it was just a tiny bit predictable. We kind of said all year, like, okay, this is a really fun story. It's impressive what they're doing. You can only play who's on your schedule, all of those cliches. But at the end of the day, we also knew this team was ahead of schedule by probably a year. The roster just didn't really jump out on paper too much. They only had Stephon Diggs as a legitimate weapon. I guess maybe Hunter Henry if you want to throw him in there. But the offensive line needed work. The Will Campbell thing did not go how they expected it to when they took him so high in the 2025 NFL draft. The defense was talented, but not supremely talented. So you take a team that had the quote-unquote cupcake schedule, not just for 2025, but really historically. You add in some really good coaching. You add in a quarterback that was playing at a level teams previously hadn't seen out of him. I mean, you get in a watered-down AFC a chance to go to the Super Bowl, but on the flip side, Seattle just built everything the right way. They drafted the right way. They attacked free agency the right way. Sam Darnold was just not very good in the Super Bowl, and frankly, it didn't matter because the rest of the team did its job to deliver Seattle a much-deserved championship.
I'm glad you brought up Drake May and his weapons. And I know in hindsight, after you see 29-13, I think there's a little bit in all of us like, we should have seen that coming. But the weapons around Drake May, how is that covered up? I said, besides the schedule, which you alluded to, and it's been much discussed, but what was the secret sauce up to that point? I know the Seattle defense is a different animal by a lot, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit. But Drake May's weapons, you look around, and it's basically a tight end or two, and I'm not exactly sure where Stephon Diggs went or if he's just going to be the latest casualty of a wide receiver to fall off the cliff as far as the production is concerned. But maybe getting back to your original point, Jordan, we should applaud them for making it as far as they did as quickly as they did.
Yeah, no doubt. And this isn't me inherently trying to discredit the job they did building the team. I want to make that clear. But there were, in different ways, and they did it differently, a little bit of a vibe of the Broncos, where it's kind of a smoke and mirrors type of offense, where you look at it on paper and you watch them play, and you're like, this team, this offense doesn't do anything really to grab the eyes and turn heads. But you look at it, the run game all year was up and down. They just created a bunch of explosive plays, I think. And with other teams, you can say, okay, and even Seattle to a degree, because they had the lowest pass rate, and I think second or third last in over expectation. New England was not afraid to air it out. They threw the ball plenty of times throughout the year, but May just living on the margins, and that's kind of why I do wonder. Like he did all year. And Kayshon Boutte, very fun player. He's more of a deep threat. Mac Hollins, an explosive play threat. It was probably just the diversity of the weapons they had. And it maybe is reminiscent of, let's say, the 2022 Chiefs, where Juju was wide out one, and they just kind of do it by committee. They get the running backs involved. Diggs leading the way. And then Hunter Henry, props to him, just a massive red zone threat all year. Had probably the best season of his career. So while they didn't have the top end talent, let's say, or even second tier talent, they had guys that specialize in different things. I mean, you have a quarterback who was just absolutely nails on converting those explosives. When we talk about it with the Chiefs, you get a bigger margin for error elsewhere, and you're spending less time on the field. You're leaving less room for things to go wrong when you break off those chunk plays, and I kind of think that's what the Patriots thrived off of.
Do you think Josh McDaniels should be taking the task for the play calling? I feel like they could have made it a little bit easier on Drake May on Sunday.
Yeah, no doubt. And even down to Mike McDonald apparently getting tells on their offensive line and what they're doing. And maybe that comes down to the offensive line coach. But I think with McDaniels, he did nothing to help Drake May or the run game at all. And it was a bad day to have a bad day. Mike Vrabel came out right after and said that no one performed well enough to bring home the Super Bowl championship. That game was just very ugly from the start in one way, and then by the time it got out of hand, it was ugly in another way. And Josh McDaniels is a guy that's been around the block a couple times, so you can't really do that and expect to win a Super Bowl.
Are we all going to feel bad here in a week or so if we discover Drake May is going to undergo surgery of some point? Because after the fact, it was reported that he was less than 100% and maybe even took an injection in his shoulder.
Yeah, no doubt. And I kind of see it twofold with stuff like that. And everyone wanted to make fun of Josh Allen for what he was doing and coming around with the crutches and the stuff. Like, he didn't complain. He did what he was supposed to do. He didn't whine about it. And Drake May did it the same way. And these guys are rarely ever at 100%. Everyone wants to call it a excuse instead of context. And I think there's a very big difference. So with Drake May, it's absolutely context that you have to consider.
So what about Sam Darnold? What does this do for his quote-unquote legacy, or is he just Brad Johnson in disguise?
No, I think it's massive for him. Like, you win a Super Bowl and you're going to that upper echelon, or at least the mid to upper echelon, the middle class of all-time quarterbacking rankings. Like, you have to be talked about differently. And guys like Trent Dilfer, right? It's like, okay, right. This guy clearly was not a very good player, but he does have the hardware and the accolades and all that. Like Darnold, love him or hate him, and I've been trending to the lesser side over the course of his career because I just never truly believed in him, and that's a reflection of me probably being wrong. He played one heck of a season and did one heck of a job. So kudos to him. I think that Seattle, given the contract value that they got him at and the limb they went out on to acquire him, he deserves all the praise and all the props for everything that he did. And coming into next season, you're talking about him maybe as a top 12 quarterback, something like that, and that maybe Brock Purdy type range, except you come down with the Super Bowl, that probably bumps you up a couple spots where people are going to lump him into, let's say, the Dak Prescott conversations of the world. And is that fair? Maybe, maybe not. And he didn't necessarily win them the Super Bowl, but he showed in the NFC title game he's capable of playing just absolutely lights out, especially when it matters.
So when it comes to the construction of that Seahawks team, which as we look at it right now, it's a stroke of genius. It's brilliant. What is it more of, though, Jordan? The construction of the team, i.e. Fitting in the pieces monetarily to make sure that, you know, the money is dispersed perfectly to where nobody gets overpaid, et cetera, et cetera? Or is it simply identifying talent and the Jimmies and the Joes just kick the Patriots' butts?
I think it's probably more of the latter, and Schneider just doing an absolutely awesome job of building that team and finding the right pieces. And also a lot of it is kind of how you line up time-wise, right? And the Chiefs had that big 2022 draft class where they made the perfect moves at the right time and the cost was controlled. You can identify talent, but also those resources have to line up too. In Seattle, you're getting Charles Crush, you're getting Boye Mafe, you're getting Ken Walker. I think Abe Lucas was also in that 2022 class. Reek Woolen was probably in that class. They got a bleak ton of impactful players in a very short amount of time. Fast forward a few years, those guys are extension eligible. You're probably going to be able to retain some of them, Walker probably among them, especially with Sharps getting hurt late in the year. But it's also making the minor moves throughout the year, making the big move for the quarterback, getting the right coach. Like, there's so much that goes into winning a Super Bowl, and luck is a part of it as well. It's weird with the Chiefs conversation because they did it so many times and they got there so many times and they were so consistently dominant, but building something beyond even 1 year is almost impossible. And it's really, really hard to do it for one. So Seattle, the right combo of coaching, patience, but also learning when to strike when the iron is hot. And I think that they kind of walk that tightrope really well.
Well, should we expect that sort of thing to reoccur, or is the biggest reason the Chiefs have been able to do it is number 15?
Yeah, I still lean, and I was talking to buddies coming into the game. I think I sent a text like, I can't wait for Darnold to not play too well and win a Super Bowl. And then everybody on Monday morning is going to talk about the model, quote unquote, for NFL team building, and it's the new meta for how you run a team and all that stuff. Like, if you want to build the 2023 or 2024 Philadelphia Eagles, go for it. If you want to build, I guess, one of the San Fran teams that if they had an otherworldly quarterback, maybe they win it or better luck. But the caveat is, when you have teams that are well built everywhere else, you probably aren't going to have the superhuman quarterback. Like, Baltimore has had very good teams, but also has lacked in weapons. When Lamar has been getting them to the playoffs, the defense faltered a couple times. Buffalo, they had a really good defense for a while, but lacked at other places, and then built up the offensive line. Then the weapons weren't good. Then the defense was shaky. So it's a constant tug of war of, if you can hit the sweet spot, and maybe a team like the Rams potentially did it, but then their defense faltered them in the playoffs. And I think the cornerback spot was one of the very few weak points on that squad. Seattle just didn't have too many of them. And I think it's almost impossible to not have glaring holes on your team. But I'd still lean you need a top, let's say, 5 to 7 quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and once every few years, maybe once every 5 to 7 years, to match that, you're going to get a guy that wins it. It just so happens that back-to-back seasons, it's happened where that isn't an elite guy, but I'd like to see it maybe one more time before I fully shift to you can build a team that way, and it's kind of a repeatable team building exercise.
Yeah. Talking to Jordan Foote, Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. All right, let's shift to the Chiefs a little bit. Their off season is unlike any that they've seen in quite a long time, honestly, especially with where they're picking and the off season and the needs and on and on and on. But what's at the very top of the list for you, Jordan, when you look at the Chiefs when it comes to need, as far as philosophically speaking, or X's and O's, or who they should draft, or what's top of mind for you, and what should be top of mind for Brett Veach and everybody else over there?
Yeah, I think you have to get out of cap purgatory first and foremost. And it just does not look good for them right now. They have plenty of free agents. And again, it's not going to take all of them to be necessarily coming back in the offseason. They can afford to let some of those guys leave, but they have either the least or second least amount of cap space. They are well in the hole, 50 million plus, needing some maneuvers to get things done. Now, the bright side, quote unquote, is Juwan Taylor has the 20 million in cap savings to just 7.3 million in dead cap. They can get rid of Mike Dana and save 8.9 million while incurring 2.1. Drew Tranquil, 6 million to 1.5. They can make things happen. George Karlaftis maybe jumping into renegotiating, or I guess kind of restructuring his deal, rather. Trey Smith is a possibility. I don't think that they touch the Chris Jones bank. The big one, the elephant in the room, and this is not the path that I would go, trading Trent McDuffie has been floated a ton, and I do see the logic for it because of the draft capital that he would return, and then you're also able to maybe piece together enough to get a Brian Cook back, get a Jalen Watson back, get Leo Chenal back, maybe 2 out of those 3. But first and foremost, you have to make the right tough decisions, or even the layups, to get out of a bad spot cap-wise, and then attack free agency. I'd say wide receiver is one of my top 3 needs. Running back may be the most important one, which is ironic to say in just about any situation, and then maybe invest in that defensive line and get Chris Jones a little bit of help.
Any chance they trade back? They haven't been here in a while, so they take advantage of that, or do they need more dudes than just whoever's in the top 10?
Yeah, I don't think that they trade back, and it is possible. Again, I'm not ruling anything out, but it goes somewhat against the Brett Veach MO in situations like this. They probably won't have a pick this valuable for quite some time, unless they move up for it in a future year. I think you just have to get the premier talent. But like if the situation is Reuben Baines off the board, Carnell Tate's off the board, Jordan Tyson's off the board, Mekhi Lemon is off the board, and you're stuck with like a Kenyon Sadiq or Jeremiah Love situation. And even then, you could probably get like a David Bailey from Tech. But if it's Keldrick Falk up there, that's a little bit rich for my liking. I just don't think that he's the 9th overall pick as of, February 10th. But they could net pretty significant draft capital. And you can go, I like to use the Rich Hill trade chart and kind of maneuver, okay, where is this valued at versus where's another pick valued at? Number 9's worth 387 points. Pick 31 from New England is worth 190. So like you can get pretty significant capital in return if you move back, but I just don't see it happening. I think that they need to capitalize on a rare opportunity. And that's probably what I'd say they're going to do.
So teams that pick in the top 5, 10, whatever routinely, I don't want to say it's easier for them, but it's something they're used to. And I think this is not a small thing in that it's easy to kind of fumble this pick away, for lack of a better phrase. And I'm sure for example, if you're the Jets, if you're the Giants, if you're a team that's a bottom feeder and that routinely picks in the top 5, that means you need to pick the best guy available because he could probably help you right now, regardless of position. Do you think the Chiefs are in that spot, or should they be targeting the best guy at this particular position? You follow my logic there?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I don't want to call it good news because it's not necessarily great that the team's at the spot, but they do have multiple positions where you need to take the best guy available. And I'm totally not in this draft BPA, because BPA at number 9 might be a tackle. It might be, a defensive back. Like I think for the Chiefs, you go the top wide receiver available or the top defensive lineman available. Those are my 2 things. If you take a tackle, I'm kind of looking at you sideways. If you take like Sonny Styles, I'm just absolutely going crazy. Caleb Downs, I could maybe be talked into just because of how much they might miss Brian Cook and how much fun Spags would have with him. But that even applies to, you can goof up the positional need too, like a Caleb Banks from Florida who's getting mocked to the Chiefs a couple times. I think he might barely be a first-round player, and that couldn't just be me being totally out to lunch on a player. But there are certain guys that if you take him at number 9, you're going out on a limb for the right developmental track. And considering the Chiefs kind of, this might not be the right phrase, but like organizational politics of sometimes playing the guys who know the system better, are more available, have been there for a while, have familiarity, have endeared themselves to the locker room, the coaching staff. Like if you do that and you're going developmental, like FAU type route with your first overall pick, like this has to be a player that can step in immediately, make a big difference, help you get back to the mountaintop. But the best news of all is this takes place after free agency. So if they address somehow every single need and just look great, and then Jeremiah Love is there at 9 and maybe running back's the only thing that you've left untouched, by the grace of God, you can go do that and say, okay, let's make that move. But I just find it hard to believe that they're going to patch every single hole just because they do have quite a few to do.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Final question before we let you go. Now the dust is settled. We talked about it, I think, initially, but now that we're far enough removed from it that we've been able to clear our collective heads a little bit, what does the Eric Bieniemy hire mean to you? How important is that?
I do believe in the accountability piece of it. Like, I think that he's just a guy that's going to make a difference every day in the locker room, on the field. That's going to work. But if you're looking for new philosophies, new ideas, and he talked about kind of the ways that he's learned over the past few years with the UCLA thing, the Washington gig, going to Chicago, all of that, like it could help the run game. I fully believe that that's possible if they get the right personnel. I think that's more important than the scheme at this point, although they do go hand in hand. It's going to make better than Matt Nagy, I think, is where I would put it. I'm trying not to be too down on the hire because I think personally And I have friends who thought the same thing. Everyone wanted like a Nate Shieldhouse or one of the up and comers or like Mike McDaniel. I personally just don't subscribe to Andy Reid changing at this point unless he wants to and it's his idea. Can Andy Reid come up with a new concept or implement something he hasn't before? Absolutely. But is anyone going to get in his ear and fundamentally change somebody who's, closing in on 70 and has already won a Super Bowl and all of that? I don't think so. So the enemy thing for a Chiefs OC job, which is much different than, 90% of the NFL, I think it's fine, and it's probably gotten too much disdain over the past few weeks.
Yeah. Jordan's Juicy Takes brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu, 21st Street. Check them out online, boothcreekwagyu.com or 21st and Web. Head over and ask for Jeannie. Tell them we sent you. Booth Creek Wagyu, changing the way America eats beef. Great stuff, Jordan. As always, appreciate you, man. Have a great week.
Yep, likewise, buddy.
All right, sounds good. There's Jordan Foote. When we come back, let's project some opening day lineups in baseball, shall we? Pitchers and catchers about to report. We'll talk baseball next.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalize this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Guys, low energy, stubborn belly fat, or a drop-in drive aren't just getting older. They're signs your hormones may be out of balance. Dan Pharmacy's hormone replacement therapy is built with men in mind, helping restore strength, focus, and muscle tone and confidence. Our team delivers precise, personalized treatment so you can perform at your peak, at work, in the gym, and everywhere else. Stop settling. Visit danpharmacy.com today and see how Dan Pharmacy helps men take back control.
Hi, this is Blake Davis with Davis Liquor Outlet. And this is Brian Davis with another great special on Crown Royal 1.75 liters, only $49.99. Plus, grab Truly 12 packs, just $15.99. Davis Liquor Outlet, each store independently owned and operated. Wichita owned, Wichita proud.
The boats are back at Century 2 with screaming deals on tons of boats at the Marine Specialty Boat Fishing and Hunting Show, February 13th through 15th.
Check out wake surf boats and pontoons, fishing boats, personal watercraft, and cruisers.
Enjoy non-stop entertainment, live stingrays, pro angler demos from a 40-foot stock fish tank.
Get ready for fun in the sun at the Marine Specialty Boat Fishing and Hunting Show, February 13th through 15th at Century 2, presented by Beacon Marine.
Go to WichitaBoatShows.com for info. Kids are free.
Randy Van Horn, the creator of this theme song, the Flintstones, Born Day. It's 1:30. Welcome back. Shane and Jack with you for another half hour or so. And then we will hand you off to the Pulse and Chance Lebo. And he is out at American Shaman Botanicals, Wichita. It's at 21st and Rock, right by Dillon's. He's in that little nook over there. So head by and see him and Jeff and the gang if they're there. And tell them ESPN Wichita sent you. But Chance will be in for Pat again today. And he'll be out at CBD American Shaman Wichita at 21st and Rock. Pitchers and catchers reporting either today or soon, depending on what team you follow. And instead of projecting some lineups, because that would obviously, especially in the Royals case, depend on what hand the pitcher throws with. I want to discuss a couple of guys as spring training goes that I will be keeping track of, be interested in their development and what happens to them at the big league level. Now that this first guy has made it to the big leagues. And all three of these guys, or two plus an honorable mention that I'll mention, have some roundabout ties to Wichita State, i.e. I've seen them play before. So that's basically the root of my interest with these guys I'm about to talk about. Number one is Nolan McLean, guy from Oklahoma State. And by the way, and he plays for the Mets. And there's a guy named Carson Benj. Jack, have you heard Carson Benj? He's with the Mets organization as well.
I have, yes.
He's also an Oklahoma State guy. And both of those guys at Oklahoma State did something very, very well that you rarely find in college anymore. And that is those guys were two-way players. And anyway, Nolan McLean was going to not only play two positions or be a two-way player for the baseball team, he was going to play football at Oklahoma State too, but decided to concentrate on baseball. He went in the third round in 2022 by the Orioles, but didn't sign, and then had another good year in Stillwater where he did both, pitched and hit, and got drafted in the third round by the Mets that next year, and kind of came on like gangbusters with the Mets, with the big club. Made 8 starts and had an ERA barely over 2. So you Shocker fans have probably remembered Nolan McLean's name. 57 punch-outs in 48 innings with the Mets last year. So he's one guy that I'll keep my eye on. And a guy that I had kind of forgotten about because, you know, when you get hurt, kind of out of sight, out of mind. And a kind of a tough break type of health issue with Shane McClanahan, the former USF pitcher who's with the Rays now. He was coming back from Tommy John last spring, and then he had some sort of nerve damage or issue, and that ended his season before it even got started. And apparently he's ready to go again. He's 28, and when healthy, or at least a couple of years ago before he got hurt, he was one of the best left-handers in baseball. But he's coming back and giving it yet another try after 2 separate injuries have robbed him of a bunch of time on the field. And then, of course, honorable mention would go to Trey Yasevich. We saw him pitch so brilliantly down the stretch for the Blue Jays. He's the East Carolina guy, if you forgot that. Big dude, 6'4", 225, and really made his presence known. Really stole the spotlight down the stretch. This unflappable rookie for the Blue Jays that most of us outside of around here had never heard of. We got to see him a couple of times pitch against Wichita State, and he had a tremendous end to his collegiate career, although it was interrupted by a freak injury that he suffered. And but it didn't really hurt his draft stock too much. And there he is with Toronto in the big leagues and doing a great job in the postseason. So Nolan McLean, Shane McClanahan, and to a lesser degree, Trey Yasevich, but Yasevich is really already arrived. So pitchers and catchers again reporting. Jack, you will get your eyeballs on a lot of Royals prospects and big leaguers too here before too long. Understand you're going to Surprise at some point this weekend, and then you'll be able to give us, either myself, Chance, and or Pat, some pretty valuable Royals audio and interviews like you did last year. We certainly look forward to that. But one guy, give us either under the radar guy or a big leaguer that we've all heard of that you will be watching with special interest, and give us a brief reason why.
I would probably say that my guy to watch in camp would be Luinder Avila.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff played up so well when he was called up later on in the season. He had a couple of different stints in Kansas City, but the spin rate on his curveball is elite. His fastball can sit in the mid-90s, and the Royals really aren't sure whether he's going to be a starter or a bullpen guy. In that same conversation, I'd say for the second straight year, I'll be keeping my eye on Steven Cruz. I really think that he can be one of the top relievers in that bullpen. And when you have two guys with high-powered stuff, can really get the swing and miss, that can be the difference in your bullpen being top 10 and top 5. And so those two guys might have big roles in doing that.
By the way, the prospect rankings for 2026 on MLB.com littered with guys that you've heard of if you like baseball at all. The number 5 overall prospect is J.J. Weatherholt, the Cardinals infielder who was either injured or sick or something for at least one of the trips that the Springfield Cardinals made to Wichita. So if you got a glimpse of J.J. Weatherholt at Springfield, you were lucky. But he's the number 5 prospect. And then former Wind Surge player Walker Jenkins is number 14. He's pretty much directly behind Trey Yesavage, which probably won't be on this list for too much longer because in the big leagues. But then you have the aforementioned Carson Benj, the former Oklahoma State Cowboy who's in AAA with the Mets. He's an outfielder. And then there's Carter Jensen, and Peyton Tolley right next to one another in the prospect rankings. Number 18 for the Royals and number 19 for the Red Sox is a former Shocker, Peyton Tolley. And then there's Travis Bazzana, the Guardians prospect. He's at number 20 as well. And then the latest in the long line of Holidays, Ethan Holiday is 24 with the Rockies. So a bunch of guys that you probably have heard of and that you will see in the big leagues in the not too distant future to keep an eye on. And then there's Kalen Culpepper. He's down there at 52. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. And I can't imagine that he would come back here because, he's a prospect and they're going to move him right along. And he's, to me, probably spent plenty of time at AA. They want to see what he does making the jump. But Kalen Culpepper, former K-State infielder, is top 52 in the MLB.com rankings when it comes to prospects. Baseball's almost here in the big leagues and in college too. College baseball opens up on Friday, opening day, Friday the 13th. And for Wichita State, it'll be a 3:00 game against Northern Colorado, ESPN Plus, if you want to watch that. The 2026 version of Brian Green's baseball team will hit the field on Friday, weather permitting, 3:00. Baseball against Northern Colorado, the first of 4 this weekend between the Shockers and the Bears. Scheduled to play a doubleheader on Saturday at noon, if you're into that. If you're in the area, you want to come out and watch, or if you want to watch on ESPN Plus, got 4 games in 3 days, at least scheduled on the Plus between the Shockers and Northern Colorado to start the college baseball season. It's 1:39. When we come back, I'm old Jack Shaw.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
When it comes to money, what matters most to you? It's not an easy question because your answer can change at a moment's notice. At Commerce Bank, we have 160 years of helping people ask themselves that question and providing financial solutions that are tailored to your ever-changing wants and needs. From setting short-term goals to planning for your future, if it matters to you, it matters to us. And together, we'll find the answers that matter. Commerce Bank. Challenge accepted. Member FDIC.
Today on Hey Culligan Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener. Here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate.
Just saying you probably win an award for that. Saul.
Turns out you didn't use enough anchors. Wait, you didn't use any anchors? Now you've got an open floor plan. Trendy. And if you have the wrong home insurance, you could need a wall of money to fix this. So get home insurance with Allstate and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Nachos!
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 Hey, I'll take some.
and some Frank's Red Hot.
Oh, nah, I'm good.
Oh, you're just going to eat these dry, plain, boring nachos with no French. Oh, seriously? Frank it up. Frank it up. Come on, lady. Frank it up. Frank it up. Frank it up. Yeah! Yeah, this guy finally gets it. Hey, look, we're on the Jumbotron.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalize this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
You were raised on an asphalt farm. Ain't never heard a rooster crow.
I'm old Jack Young. 142. Chance and the Pulse is coming up next. He is at American Shaman Botanicals in Wichita, 21st and Rock. Otherwise, he'd be here. Actually, otherwise, Pat would be here, but Chance is filling in for Pat again today. Funny story about this song, Jack. Number one, or I think it's funny anyway. Maybe you will. I thought for years this was Brooks and Dunn.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you one bit. It sounds just like them.
It sure does. But this dude has not only this one, but he's got at least one other one. It's really good.
Running out of moonlight.
There you go. Yes, that's correct. So I could have guessed this one after 3 notes. But unlike Florida Georgia Line, I wanted to hear the rest of it.
Or let it ride.
Or at least some of the rest of it, yeah. Also, congratulations, Nicholas, for winning the Top Golf gift card. Hauser is the guy's last name. Is it Randy? Randy,
there you go,
Randy Hauser. Okay, cool. God, really good song right there. It needs to be on my playlist. Is it? You've got privy to my playlist. Have you seen it on there?
The one from Saturday night, I didn't see it there, but I'm sure it's been on there a time.
Yeah, got to be. Well, if it's not, it's going to be. All right. It's February the 10th. Celebrating birthdays today. If you don't know how I'm old Jack Young works, you're in for a treat. A non-big four. So I'm not trying to make you stumble right out of the blocks. But non-big four, Lexi Thompson, 29. Lexi's a female.
I'll just go with Olympian.
Can't accept that. Golfer.
That's fine. Okay.
Professional golfer. Sterling Shepard, 33.
Former OU Sooner.
Sterling Shepard is only 33. Alex Gordon, 42.
Royal, Nebraska Cornhusker.
Legend. Here's some trivia for you. And I don't know the answer, so I guess maybe this doesn't make it trivia. It's just a question. You ever play for Team USA on the World Baseball Classic?
He did not, no.
Okay. Cesar is Turris, 46.
Brother of my sir is Turris, baseball.
Correct. Inconceivable to think that Lance Berkman is 50.
Part of the 3Bs, Astro Cardinal.
Rice Owl legend. You ought to see his draft year stats at Rice.
I bet they were ridiculous.
Oh my Lord. Can't imagine.
Well, let's see this.
See,
Okay.
see if it pops up for you. Fun
I'm
fact,
sure
I can fill while you look. His Rice Owls came to Wichita and got bounced in the regional championship game. Shockers kept them from going to the College World Series that year.
Oh my. Okay, so his career batting average at Rice was 385, 67 total home runs. But I'm sure you're thinking about his. I mean, this can't be right.
30 something, right?
Okay, so his. Oh my goodness, his 1997 season
There you
in
go.
college.
Yes.
He was the college player of the year. He was an All-American. He hit 431 with 41 home runs and 134 RBI.
There you go. Those are the stats I was referring to.
God.
Yeah. And it translated like he did that in the big leagues pretty much too. So
431 is stupid.
that's obscene. I know.
With that power.
Yeah. Good luck pitching to him with an aluminum bat. Bobby Jones, 56.
This is basketball, right?
Well, no, but I won't count off because Bobby Jones is such a common name, and there are Bobby Joneses that play basketball, but no.
No.
Former Mets pitcher.
Okay.
I believe Fresno State guy. Daryl Johnston, 60.
Now that's football.
Yeah. Moose. Cowboy fullback. And broadcaster now. Analyst. Lenny Webster, 61.
Baseball.
Correct. Lenny Dykstra, 63.
Another baseball.
Correct.
Met.
In Philly. Non-Big Four. Greg Norman, 71. And he's married to a former legendary tennis player.
Oh.
I don't know if that helps or not. He's from Australia. His nickname is the Great White Shark.
Probably golf. Then.
That's right. Golfer. Got his own clothing line, too. He's quite the entrepreneur.
Who was the golfer that had the terrible words for Tiger Woods about
Fuzzy Zeller,
Fuzzy?
who's no
We
longer with
always-
us. Yeah.
We always get Fuzzy every once in a while.
Mhm.
And I thought for a second, I'm like, was that Greg Norman?
I can't believe Fuzzy survived that as well as he did. Because he kind of, I don't want to say he got away with it, but
I think just different time period.
I guess, but man.
I mean, still obviously still bad, but I think when would he have said it?
Would have said it at the rise of Tiger Woods fame, which
So
would
we're
have been early
talking,
90s.
like, yeah,
right?
I mean, early 90s, the biggest thing about it all is that there wasn't social media.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Probably the simplest way to put it. Non-Big Four. And this guy would be topical considering the time of the year. Mark Spitz, 76.
Time of the year, non-Big Four?
Non-Big Four.
Okay. I'll go Olympian.
Yeah. Swimmer.
Okay.
Very good. Very good
All
deduction.
right.
He was a swimmer. He at one point had 7 7 gold medals in 1 Olympic Games, 1972. Born on this day, now dead, Dick Towers. How's that for a name?
That is quite a name.
Hint?
Sure.
You want a hint?
Yeah, might as well.
Coach, and then later executive. Dick Towers.
Sounds like a football guy.
It is a football guy. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a former Southern Illinois coach, but he was also the AD at Kansas State for 4 years.
Oh.
When they were terrible in football, 81 to 85. He was also born in Kansas City, Kansas. I got to admit, that's news to me also. You and I both have been now introduced to Dick Towers. Born on this day, now dead, Allie Reynolds.
This a big 4?
Mm-hmm. Hint.
Yeah.
Carson Benj and Nola McLean have a relationship with this guy.
Oh, then it has to be baseball.
Yeah, Allie Reynolds. It's Allie P. Reynolds Stadium, or was. That's where Oklahoma State used to play. He's from Bethany, Oklahoma. And he was a 6-time World Series winner with the Yankees. He was a pitcher, Allie Reynolds. That was kind of cool that we tied that into the previous segment, which I didn't know that was coming down the pike. It's the beauty of I'm old Jack's young, Jack. Just never know.
It really is.
Never know.
Never know.
I thought there was one other notable that I missed. Guess not. We'll move to Dead Day. Those who passed away on February the 10th. Notables? Last year, Peter Tuiasosopo at the age of 61.
Any relation to Matt?
Dude, gotta be. I know what you're going to say.
Baseball then?
No, I thought you were going to say football. Aren't there a bunch of Tuiasosopos in football?
I know Matt Tuiasosopo was a baseball player, and he was for the Mariners. So I guess then football.
Okay, football. Sorry. Thought that was going to be a layup for you. Let's see if you remember this one. Non-Big Four happened in 2009. Jeremy Lusk at the age of 24. Non-Big Four.
Man. I'll just say Olympian again.
Apparently not. I'll give you half a point because he was probably an X Games guy. He was a motocross racer, freestyle. Died 3 days after he crashed while attempting a flip during a competition in Costa Rica. 17 years ago. Yeesh. Terrible. On this day, 1997, O.J. Simpson's jury reached a decision on a $25 million punitive damage verdict. Pro Bowl, back when these mattered. 2007, rather, in Honolulu. AFC 21, AFC 31, NFC 28. MVP, Carson Palmer from the Bengals. Do you ever recall watching a Pro Bowl, Jack, and caring about it? Or has it always
Never.
stunk in your life?
I've always hated them.
Okay.
I think it's a worthless waste of time.
Well, it used to be real football. Keep that in mind. You know that from Brian
I do.
Mormon running
Yes.
the fake punt. But yeah. Yeah, it's too bad. That used to be appointment TV. Outside playing in the snow, and then you come in later that afternoon, watch the Pro Bowl. Those were the days. All right, that'll do it for me. Appreciate you, Jack. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We will talk tomorrow and get you ready for Wichita State and USF tomorrow, among other things. Stick around. Chance and the Pulse coming up next.